It is I. It is I, Johnny Brightich, here to speak to you about some wondrous things today. As you guys can see, we're up and running and our shows are starting to come to fruition. You know, trying to figure out the technical and all the stuff that has to be run right and color corrections and all that blah, blah, blah. Anyway, otherwise, for the most part, from what I've heard and the feedback I've gotten, it seems like it's working pretty good. People are seeming to like all the things that we're doing here. Hold on a second. I'd like to look into my screen and see cool backgrounds. Beautiful. Anyway, I'm here to talk to you about a class I used to give some time ago, and it was called Becoming a Professional Artist. It was really geared since I am out here in Georgia. It was geared toward more special effect artists, and it was, it was really just geared out to make sure that people out there didn't lose the oomph and desire to become an artist. I mean, let's face it. One of the things that happens, I think, as an artist, is look here, let me get comfortable because it's going to be a long one. It's very difficult to become an artist in one aspect, especially in the world of special effect makeup, due to the fact that a lot of the stuff that we use is very expensive, right? So the silicones and platinum silicones and Platsills, and we can use, with all the silicones and the molds that we make and the epoxies that we use and all the stuff that we use and make, it's expensive. And there's really no room for error. When you're learning, it's cool. If you're lucky enough to go work for a professional effect shop, studio, good, really cool shop, and somebody's cool enough to have you aboard, that's really, at the end of the day, with the guidance, I'm sure the person that's going to hire you is going to make sure that you're doing things right. Nobody wants to waste hundreds of dollars, and especially in time. And so I would say the best thing in the world is if you can get into a shop, and even if it's just to stand there and watch, right? YouTube is wonderful, but for learning special effect makeup, it's a 50-50 gamble. There's cool techniques, there's wonderful things that are on there, but at the end of the day, you got to smell it, taste it. There's certain chemical reactions that happen to when you add MEK, the hardener, to, say, polyester resin or any other, different kinds of resins. There's a smell that comes out of there. Now, you'll have your respirator on, but from the distance, you'll be able to know if you added too much because it's either smoking or you put too much. It's crazy. It's a very kinesthetic art. And it's also an art that you really need to focus on feel, touch, and smell. And unfortunately, until YouTube figures out how to do that, guys like me and other guys that do teach out there in the special effect world, we're going to make sure that you learn it correctly. And there's so many elements and so many things that go into becoming a professional artist, especially a special effect artist. What we're going to talk to you about is when starting out, one of the things that people do is, they get into this industry, or any industry as an artist, and they want to use the most expensive stuff they can possibly fathom. They see the guys in the industry, well, fuck, they're using platinum silicones, they're making cores, and that's great, but you have to learn how to do it first. Make sense? So when you go to learn how to make these things, a lot of the stuff that we use is expensive, like I said, So how do you go around doing stuff like that with not breaking the bank? When I started out using just plasters, just learning how to doing really good molds with plasters, learning how to, do a partition wall, how to do keys correctly, how to smooth my walls, how to seal. There was a plethora of things that you do, and as an instructor, back in the day, I also would teach people, It's not what you have, it's what you do with what you have. That's really, at the end of the day, I've seen so many professional effect artists do makeups that blow your mind with just like, balloon rubber and latex, or cotton latex, and, going back in the day. Do we still use those techniques? Yeah, sure we do. We absolutely do. I hear a lot of people, oh, those are old techniques, and those are, fuck you. You got to learn how to do it to begin with. You have to learn the ropes, man. You know what I mean? Go learn it. Learn it right. Everything that you learn isn't bad. Is that fair to say? Right? So I learned, I would tell everybody, just go ahead and learn. Learn your gelatins. Learn balloon rubbers. Learn how to blend those edges really, really well. There's a plethora of things that you can do to learn that. Like I say, there's Stuart Bray online. There's Stan Winston classes and et cetera, what have you. But one of the things I can sit here and talk about chemicals and materials till I'm blue in the face, because it's what I do is chemicals and it's what I do. Look, this video, huh? It's pretty cool. Looks pretty clean. Anyway, I'm going to move over a little bit so I can center myself, because I'm a neurotic and I see myself not in the middle. So what I would like to talk to you about too is, you can have all the skill set in the world, and you can be the best of the best, but there's a lot of elements at the end of the day that you're going to really need to focus on. And one of the biggest things I'd say to focus on is is personality. Artists have this scenario, well, I'm not inspired. I'm not. That's fucking real adorable. That's cute. Good luck with that. Are you inspired to eat? Take a shower, pay rent? Yeah, you see how fast you get your inspiration when you're a professional artist. Your ego, if you have an ego, there you go. There's your ego. Enjoy that. Your ego is not something that it should exist ever. You don't know everything. You never will know everything. No matter how good you are, there's 1,000 people better than you are. Better. That's the other scenario. Are they better? Or do they put more effort and focus in becoming a person with a stronger skill set? Right? So, I know a lot of people that they can make stuff and they do a great job, and then you get somebody walk into your room and they do stuff 50 times better. And you're thinking to yourself, fuck, how can they do that better? I've been doing this so long and this and that. Because you know what? They've advanced it. And the other thing is this art is constantly advancing. Art as a whole is always advancing. My advice to you is to surround yourself with people that are better than you are. Be humble, shut your hole, and listen. And if you have somebody that's nice enough to give you the opportunity to learn, listen. Do whatever they say to do. You can't learn that in a school. You can't learn it in a book. These people, professional effect artists, especially guys that have been doing it like long as me or somebody else, we have failed so many times that it's unbelievable. So if you fail, we can tell you 300 ways to fix it, because we failed that many times as well. Is it failure? When you stop trying, it's failure, right? If you start trying, oh God, I can't do this. This is too hard. Then don't fucking do it. Go get a job at McDonald's, and good luck to you. You know what I mean? But you're going to have to sit in there in that shop, hot, cold. Some shops are air conditioned. My shop's not air conditioner. It has nothing, not at all. In the summer, it's like going to hell. But guess what? That's my job. It's what I do. I can't stand that little light ring anymore. I keep looking over it, and what the fuck? I hate it. Anyway, myself coming up, learning the ropes. I worked in shops in Florida, and like I said, I learned how to do car parts and worked in fiberglass and whatever. And it was hell. It was hot as shit. But that goes back to the scenario of how bad do you want it, and how bad you want to be good at what you do. Being good at what you do takes suffering. No, it doesn't. I can go. Yes, it takes suffering. You also need to have a natural born inside ability with a lot of things. Can you learn everything in school? You can learn the premises of it, but you're not going to learn it all. And at the end of the day, you have to keep practicing. And what else? The other thing is too, I like to tell like a lot of my students back in the day was, what do you have to offer this industry that no one's seen before, because that really at the end of the day, we're all about seeing something cool, some cool shit, right? And B, what is something that you could do that would really lure people in to, wow, that was really cool. How did they do that? So maybe a technical aspect. The artistic aspect is one thing, but maybe a technical aspect. We're all different beings. I'm a shop guy, right? Love the shop. Make it 16-hour day, blah, blah, blah. But I don't like being on set. That's just me. It's my preference. I don't like the fake of Hollywood and the fake people and the ass kissers and all. That's not my thing. I unfortunately have an explosive temper where I don't like fake people. I'm honestly to the point 24 hours a day, right? I'll bend over backwards for you too, but I expect it back. Anyway, so going into being a professional artist, like I was just saying, what is it that you have to offer that no one else has to offer, right? First, you got to learn the ropes. You learn with the basics. You start learning. You know how you started to paint, learn to paint? And it actually worked great for me because when I use Skin Illustrator paints and when I use EBA paints and any other alcohol-based paints or anything, they blend just like, guess what? Watercolors. What? Yeah. So when I started out in the industry, I started painting with acrylics. I made PAX paints. I made all these different all these different paints. I use all these different paints. So that I could feel how they all feel, because they all feel different. They all paint different, and they all don't work on silicone. They all foam like everything has its own entity. But the one thing I did a lot was I used, believe it or not, I used to use. Ready to hear something? This is being a poor special effect artist trying to establish himself back in the day. I used to use watercolors on encapsulated gelatin appliances. And I would build layers. Well, how do you do that? We won't get into it. But anyway, it allowed me to, if you've ever watercolored, you know that watercolor bleeds wonderfully together, right? The colors blend incredibly. And the transitions are fantastic. Guess what Skin Illustrator is? It's basically alcohol-based watercolors. That's really at the end of the day. So it was really cool for me as an artist. I a couple years, maybe 8-9 years ago, I touched alcohol-based paints for the first time, and I was like, wow, what is this? It's like watercolors. Bingo, it was. So my point is, there's a lot of elements that begin from a very low cost point that will eventually move you into a plateau where you're using the higher end stuff. But guess what? You got a premise of stuff, right? You can't just bake a 3-tier cake if you don't know what eggs and flour do. Is it fair to say? All right. Anyway. One of the other things is, it's a psychological scenario too. When you're trying to become a professional artist or become a special effect artist at that. Skill sets are something that must be learned through trial and error. I mean, you can get the basis of things. And if you have the luxury of mentoring with somebody, fantastic. But it does take time. It takes a lot of time. My best advice to you is be humble, ask questions. There's a lot of guys in the industry out here that work out here in the film industry here that know me, that I have no problem whatsoever asking a question. I don't know everything. Hey man, how do you do? I was making this thing and blah blah blah, and I want to do this something like this. And how would you do it, right? The old Dick Smith scenario. Share information. Love the art. You have to love this. You have to suffer for it. You're going to suffer for it. Trust me. You're going to. There's days where you want to fucking kill yourself over it. Obviously we don't do that, but. Sometimes you go. Anyway, you definitely want to, you have to love and live this shit. If you're not practicing, someone's getting better than you are. If you're not reading about it, someone is more technical than you. You have to continuous education 24 hours a day. if you have to watch car videos of molds, if ceramic classes on mold making, it's a plethora of elements from different industries that they actually all come. Mold making is universal. I saw not too long ago somebody was giving a class on 3-part molds for ceramics. And the guy that gave the class, it was phenomenal. Any effect student of mine or myself would take a class like that. Wonderful. Taught about keys, talked about it's no different for fake gas, appliances, etc., what have you. And I think one of the biggest challenges you will encounter as a artist or special effect artist, you have to fight the demon that is known as you. You're always going to fight that demon that's known as you, because what's going to happen is you're going to see somebody that shames you as an artist. Do they shame you or do they inspire you? If you get your spirit broken by people that make things that are 10, 15 times better than you, then you must learn to refocus your mind and your mindset. You need to focus upon how do they get there? How do they reach that level? And oh my God, where did they learn that? Right? Going back to the scenario of questions. So I look at guys like myself, like Rick Baker, and Rick Baker is probably hands down, he's probably the best. He's, for me, as an effect guy, a guy that admired him, and Dick Smith and all the guys that are out there, I would say that Rick Baker surpassed his mentor. His Dick. I think Dick was the godfather of it all, but I think Rick went to another place. And I think anybody that knows who he is, Rick Baker, even all the pros in the industry, we see Rick Baker and we're just like, fuck, I suck. But we don't, because we work in the industry, so we did something right. So at the end of the day, we should look at his work and be inspired and admire that this man at his age, 70 years old, I believe he is still rocking shit and still has the love, passion, and desire. That's the one thing that if you lose that love, passion, and desire for what it is that you do, stop doing it. Stop it. Because then it'll become a cancer to your soul. I should have done this and you'll sit there and do something else. Are you going to suffer with this? Yep. Is it hard? Yeah, fuck it. Everything's hard. Yep. It's hard. A lot of people ask me, hey, Johnny, how do I get into the industry? I would tell you on that question, I would think the number one thing that helps you get into the industry is your work and your demeanor. And if you're cool. And are you punctual? Do you come to work on time? Are you clean? I can go down the line. Unfortunately, there's a lot of artists that have this weird mindset that they have to be the eccentric artist. Oh my God, I haven't washed for 3 days, and I'm not inspired, and I have no interest in those people. I don't care how good you are, right? Hence what my conversation is here tonight. Becoming a professional artist. There's a professional artist and there's artists. Some artists will work for cigarettes and beer, as I know a couple in my life. I would tell you in all aspects of, from a psychological aspect too, it's going to weigh on you. Again, like people being, oh my God, there's people being better. And there'll be a point in your career and you're going to go, and what's going to happen? You're going to level out. But fuck, I've learned everything, and I can't do this better. And I can't seem to get to the place where Vincent Van Dyke's crew is, and all these other guys that are out there in Pro Renaissance. Their effects are just, I just can't. Yeah, try harder. That's really my response to you. And ask questions. Find out. Write to them. For instance, there's a guy named Rob Freitas, one of the best, hands down, probably the best mold maker in the industry, from the effect industry. The guy is an innovator, an incredible guy. I have never had a problem. I don't know Rob personally, but I've never had a problem to reach out to the man and ask him for help and questions. And you know what he does? because he's a bad motherfucker and he's cool as shit. He doesn't know me. I'm a peon to, right? I'm just a little shop guy. He'll respond and he gives you his advice and his love of the art and the love of the craft of what it is that he does, and he shares information. And there's a lot of guys in the industry that are more than willing to share information because they want you to succeed. I myself was a person that I suffered in the special effect world, trying to move forward and trying to establish myself and be on a grander scale and blah, blah, blah. I still do. You think I don't? But I've asked, you have like a good, I'm going to go back to it. Ask questions, be humble, talk, read, take a class. Don't be so proud that you can't take a class, even if you know it. How many times have I even had students that have walked in, know nothing about it, and I watched them. And what did they say? Johnny, why are you watching me? Because I might learn something. And they're like, how could you learn something from me? I don't know how. Everybody does things differently. I've learned a plethora of things from people making errors. The world is this wonderful stage and an opportunity of a place to learn. And everybody is different. Fair to say? Everyone is different. Everyone's technique is different. We all have tricks. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with guys that are pros in the industry, and I'll do something, or they'll do vice versa, and they'll walk over and be like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" And I'm going to be the first to tell you how I do it, right? Because my philosophy is I own a shop, right? So my thing is, if I can teach you something, and you can do it, and you can do it better, fuck, I'm going to hire you to do it, and then I don't have to do it, right? I'm getting older. I want to do it anyway. But information from my aspect, for me as an effect artist, I grew up with that, Dick Smith mentality of like, I remember stories with Dick Smith sharing, faxing information to Tom Savini and back and forth. And back in the day, people, shared information to evolve the art. At the end of the day, it's evolving what we do. And finding the people that have that same passion and love, and there was no jealousy and all this bullshit, and you work together with that person, and you guys, people, 4 or 5 a group of people, they can grow together. You're changing the shit. You're changing the industry. That's what it's about, man. I think that's what it's always going to be about. It's about the craft, and it's about loving the craft and sharing the craft. My advice to you is practice, practice, practice. If you made an error, fix it. How do you fix it? Write it down. Everybody goes into it. Oh my God, I have to make my mold, and they run it. And you know what? I was guilty of that back in the day. I would get inspired. My artist part of my brain would come up. I would make a terrible mess, and I would just go, right? Because that's just how it is. You get into it, and you go, 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 and it's not always about go, 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 go. There's a point, I think, I don't mean getting older, I don't know, I'm fucking boring or something. But as time progresses, you start realizing, hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to remember this. I should write this down. And at the end of the day, if you've made an error, you understand how you made that error. Because there's nothing worse than when you're doing something. How many times have you made something and you go back and you look at it and you're like, fuck, I don't remember how I did it. Or you make something cool all the time and don't remember how you did it. Story of my life. But as I've gotten older, like I say, I've been, I write things down. I write down recipes, chemical recipes and stuff like that, and procedures, etc. My advice to anybody getting into the industry and becoming a professional artist is, A, live it. You have to live this. This is what your life will be. If this is what you want, you're going to suffer for it, but you're going to live it. Because there is nothing more satisfying than somebody seeing some of your work, or you go and you have a movie and someone sees your art and you killed yourself for 3 weeks, even though if it's for 5 seconds. That's usually how it is in the industry. And you saw it. Oh my God, holy shit. I saw it. That's what we live for, right? And then it's that rush of creating something, and that rush of, hey, cool, that's my shit, right? Yeah, I hear you. You also listen. Getting to the industry, don't think for a minute that you're gonna, especially if you're a shop guy like me. Done I've done a plethora of Disney, Warner Brothers, movies, features, and all this shit through my life, and no one knows who I am because someone else is taking all the credit. They hired you. You're just a lab rat, right? They might buy you lunch and be nice to you, but at the end of the day, it's all about someone else. So push hard. So it's about you and your ideas, right? It's hard enough getting in the shop. Now Johnny, you're going to push me to have my name on the screen and this. Yeah, that's right. That's right. If you have something to offer that's different, new, kick-ass, and wonderful, I mean, that really at the end of the day, isn't that why you became an artist? Just a question. I'm drinking honey whiskey because I know somebody's probably watching this thinking, what is he drinking in there? I'm not a big drinker, but I do like that honey whiskey. It's wonderful. Anyway, I hope I've touched on some wonderful areas, and it's probably more of a philosophical approach in this video that I will be posting on YouTube. You know, it's here on YouTube. Hello, thank you YouTube for listening to me and letting me post my stuff. And I hope it helps you somewhat. And I'm always available to anybody in this industry. And I don't know everything, but I do know a lot of people that are in the industry that know a lot of shit. And I am always here, as is my studio, to assist anybody that's coming up in the industry, that's trying to learn, that has questions, that has. There's one thing I didn't forget, and I did not forget how hard it was to come up in the industry. And it is a bitch. It's hard, you know. So if I can help you in any way, you have questions on chemicals and molds and silicones and paint, anything any question. We're always more than happy to help you and answer any question that we might have here at Skull Asylum SFX Studio. If there's anything that you're considering doing, buying a video or something like that, that also, listen, a lot of people say, oh, Johnny, I didn't want to bother you with something trivial like that. No, ask me. Ask me. Asking me a question costs no money. The only thing that will cost money is taking a class for me because I got to pay for those materials. I make my money other ways. Giving classes is something that I love very much, and I haven't done it in a while because of the stupid freaking coronavirus. But otherwise, classes will be back soon. And also, I'm considering doing some online courses via probably YouTube. And will be special codes, and we'll be live streaming those. So the classes will run anywhere from $30 to, I'd say, about $50. I'm not going to kill you, but we will do it step by step. I'm going to show you how to mix things and talk about humidities and how it can affect, doing epoxies and resins and silicone. We'll be doing a plethora of videos. So if that's something that you'd be interested, go ahead and give me a comment here on this page and let me know if that's something that would interest you. Otherwise, I'll probably rant around about this one more time in regards to becoming an effect artist, special effect artist. Like I said, we will be doing classes on videos, video podcast, ooh, fancy, on clays. We're going to be doing just all kinds of wonderful things on, mold making, materials, BJV versus smooth on versus, silicone zinc, that kind of scenario. And we all don't use just one company, guys, just so you all know out there. Everybody out there just loves smooth on, and there's nothing wrong with them, but they're not the only they're not the only dog in the park per se. I do want to thank you guys for checking out the video. Please comment. See, comment over here on the below over here. No, right there. Yeah, right there. Okay, comment below. Let me know what you'd like to see, and if I can be of any help to you guys, let me know. I appreciate you guys checking it out and tuning in, and I'd like to see you guys. Probably I'll see you every once a week. 52 shows. Just on special effects. Oh my God. I do have another scenario where I just rant about life and movies and stuff, but we'll get into that later. Listen, have a wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.